Are you ready to activate your hidden potential? Then today is your day to tap into your greatness. I'm here today with my guest, Dr. Denise Sincere, the confidence mindset igniter herself. Welcome to Talk to Me, Dr. Denise. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me again. Brenda, I appreciate every time you invite me back.
I'm so excited to have you here because I woke up this morning after I was done with my study time. And that sounds backwards. And I woke up after I was done with my study time. You know what I meant. In any event, during my study time this morning, I was hit with the thought about activating my hidden potential. And then after I had that thought, Dr. Denise, I went on to do my daily practices, took my kid to the medical appointment. And while I was sitting in the car, Dr. Miles Monroe popped up in my feed with the title, Activating Your Hidden Potential.
Oh, that's confirmation right there.
When that happens, you have to talk about those things. So when that happened, after I got done having a little mini shout in my car, I reached out to you and said, would you be willing to come on and talk to me today about activating your hidden potential? There is no script. There is no plan, just a conversation at the last minute because I could not contain the things that I heard Dr. Miles Monroe talk about. And I know if anybody could talk about activating your hidden potential and tapping into your greatness, it would be the confidence mindset igniter herself.
Oh, I
Talk to me,
that.
Dr. D.
I appreciate that, Brenda. I appreciate it. Yes. So, it's amazing when we start our day out with prayer, meditation, and devotion, and you're hit with a message that really just rocks your norm, if you will, and gets you uncomfortable to move you forward. And so I was pleased to hear you had that experience today. I have those myself. We really bring it to the forefront and share it with the public because, that's intimate time. That's intimate spiritual time. And so I can appreciate you sharing your moment with me today. But yes, if you receive that message twice in the morning, that's a clue. Okay, that's an answer to what it is that you are searching for. So yeah, let's talk about activating your potential, right? There's so many of us who are at a place in our lives and we think we're at the right place. We're working hard at that right place. And some of us are just trying to still figure it out. But at times it takes hearing a message or speaking to someone that can just say one word that will shake you and move you forward. So it seems like that's what you experienced today. And, getting activated is something that you have to, I believe, be number one, willing to do, right? And do it. And even if there's, a sense of fear there, you have to be willing to do it afraid. And that depends upon what you're more focused on and your level of focus and priority.
And I want to be mindful of our audience because today we are live streaming to Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Oh, okay. So for all of you out there, make sure you put something in the comment box and I'll be sure to answer after it because I haven't got to the level of where I can answer them in real time yet. But you guys, I am learning. I am growing. I am stacking the deck to my success, and I'm working on my hidden potential to do even more than what I do on a daily basis. So as we talk about this today, Dr. Denise, the things that struck me was some of the things that Dr. Miles said, and I wrote them down. So I'm going to get my notepad. Okay. And before I do, let me take a sip because I got my new little Solutionist cup here that my friend did. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous?
I love it, yes.
Dr. Miles talked about what potential was. And I'm going to read these because I don't want to miss the ones he said. And then I'm going to add the one that I added last because it was from me.
Okay.
He said it was dormant ability. It's untapped power. It's hidden strength. Potential is reserved energy. It is capped capacity. It is unused success, unleashed talent. He said that potential was all you can do but have not yet done. It's all that you can become but have not yet become. And then I added that potential is also your unresolved limiting beliefs, because that's what I personally been dealing with, which has led me to taking these 30 days off. And even though I'm supposed to be in my off season, I had to come on here and do this today because it was burning in me so much to not wait until March to talk about your hidden potential, because that's the problem. We often are hiding with the song unsang, the book unwritten, the words unsaid, the deed not done.
Yeah.
And then we wonder why we're not moving forward, because we're hiding in our potential.
Right. And excuse me for looking around. I'm trying to grab
No,
a
that's
pen here
fine.
because you just dropped some nuggets that I want to capture. And I'm like, where's my pen? I'm trying to feel around here.
Find your pen, because let me tell you, Dr. Denise, I'm so full right now because, as I stated to you when I called you, basically begging for you to come on today at the last minute, because I know you have a busy schedule with all your clients and all the seminars that you're working on and your courses that you're writing, and the fact that you took time out of your busy schedule to come support me to get out the message for people to tap into their greatness. I don't take it lightly, because I understand that you have a call and a purpose on your life as you are working on developing your own potential. So I honor you for taking the time out of your schedule to support me in what it is, as I do what I do, as I do what I love, and just cannot contain what's going on inside me right now. So I will stop the rambling and go into the part we talked about earlier, which was about the foundation. Because we know your potential, our potential is really limitless if we can get past those limiting beliefs. And we talked about foundations. Years ago, I studied foundations, and people were laughing at me about, why would you want to study foundations? But what I learned during my studies was that a foundation has to be deep enough to support the building that will rest upon it.
That's right.
And sometimes we question, well, God, why do I have to go through this? Or why do I have to get this lesson? Not realizing that we are building the building blocks that will be the foundation for the potential that we will walk into at a later date. So I was wondering if you could talk about that for a little bit.
Well, I have not studied foundations, but I do understand the principle of laying a solid foundation, or roots being, firmly set into the ground. And one of the things I do know is when a foundation is being poured or laid, it also has to be tested. So not only do you have to make sure that you have a foundation, right? And that it's solid enough to get you to grow and go where you're going, and so that building can hold the building itself and all that of its capacity. That is also, it has to be tested on every level to make sure it's solid enough to contain what it's built for.
That's right.
And so if your foundation is weak, or it has a crack in it, or you even miss that part and say, I'm just going to go ahead and skip that part and go ahead, you are subject to crash sooner than later, and you're going to keep crumbling and keep having issues unless you attend to that foundation. And when it comes to potential, which we are all full of, oftentimes we're so bombarded with so much information that we ignore the foundation. We ignore that purpose for which we are here and called to fulfill in this time, because it can change over time, right? And so with that foundation being neglected or overlooked, then you'll always have uncertainty going forward. You'll always run into confusion and stumbling blocks along the way. Even if your foundation is poured, you will have those same trials in life, but at least you're fit in a way, you're mentally fit in a way, or prepared in a way, so you can forge forward, right?
Right.
Now, with laying that foundation, and building upon that, if I may, is I'm a firm believer that you have to consult the people who know how to make sure it's done right, right? And how you're going to have a design to build and accomplish a thing that you want to create on top of that.
Now that makes sense to me, because now that's where mentors and coaches come in.
Yes.
To the play, because they help you help you lay foundations that can help you support the direction that you're going in whatever your endeavor is that you're planning on getting into, be it building a business, building a social media platform. There are coaches for everything nowadays, but people often neglect to get them, and they skip that foundational process only to find their businesses, their relationships, their finances, their social platforms crashing to the ground.
And their life. It could be, some people hire mentors to help them just get further in their own life. So that area as well. So we don't want to ignore that because, it's helpful because that could be the one weak link in your process is your personal life.
And Dr. Denise, that's why I say for my clientele that I work with through the TAPIN program, that's a foundation that I talk about, and I have 7 different areas that I talk about. It is the spiritual, the mental, the physical, the financial, your entrepreneurship, your professional, and then for veterans, there's another level that I add in there because I'm all about veterans and making sure that veterans get the support that they need. But those foundational things are important as people try to find their potential, because the problem is you don't know your potential for living a better life if your spiritual foundation isn't set, if your mental foundation isn't shored up, if your financial foundation is falling apart, and all the other areas that I mentioned also. And that's why I think having people like you that are able to mentor us and coach us through those areas are important to making sure we tap into our hidden potential.
Yes, it is. It's very important. And before I talk on that, let me just say to everyone that's listening, mentors also have mentors that we go to help keep us sharp and to continue to grow and, show up as our best selves so we can then in turn continue to help and serve our clients as well. So I don't want people to think that it's just, oh, well, you have to be a certain level in life to have a mentor or a coach. No, that's not the case. You get one at the level that you're at and you keep growing until and your coaches and your mentors will change as you grow at each level as well. So I absolutely agree with what you're saying, Brenda. Yes, we all need mentors. I have, last time I counted, I think it was 6 mentors.
And those mentors all are for different areas of your life, correct?
Yes, they are. They're all for different areas. They are all paid mentors. And it was important for me to say that because sometimes I have conversations on the back end with potential clients, and the idea of working with someone to help them get unstuck in life, they haven't fully grasped that concept yet. And they're professionals, but they just haven't gotten it. They understand it as it pertains to business and making more money. But in terms of getting unstuck in their personal life, sometimes it's still a question like, do I really need that? And so I have to walk them through that process in terms of why it's important to get unstuck. So yes, it's really important for us to understand the value that they bring to the table when working with the right mentor. It can help you, number one, shorten learning curves, which is one of the main reasons why I hire my mentors. Is I need to shorten the learning curve, get to my destination or achieve what I'm working towards faster than it would take me to go out here and research and learn the process myself, which can be very timely. So, and I balanced it out for when I was working on my PhD. It took me years to accomplish that and a lot of focus and research, right? So I look at it when I work with a mentor, how much time is this going to save me? How much irrelevant information will I bypass trying to seek the right information to get me to where I need to go? And that's how I also help people move past their blocks in their mind when they talk about, well, do I really need one? Don't I? I just want to make this money and deal with the rest later. And I'm a firm believer. If your personal life, if your spiritual life is not right, it will spill over into other areas. It will spill over into other areas of your life, your money, your relationships, your social life. Now, you can only wear a mask and block that for so long, but in the silence and in the quiet, when you're by yourself, there's going to be a disturbance on the inside if you ignore that part of your life.
Well, Dr. Denise, let's talk about a couple of specific potentials with the time we have left here. I want to focus right now for a minute on wellness. I hired a mentor. His name was excuse me, was. His name is Michael Harper from
Okay.
Harper's Sports Performance. And Mike was able to help me work with me within my limitations, because I do have chronic pain issues and a lot of physical limitations that don't often allow me to do exercises in the standard way. But by hiring Michael, I was able to avoid injury. I was able to work smarter, not harder, was able to lose weight, tone up, and get to my fit, fabulous self. And I continue to do so. So, from a wellness standpoint, how important do you feel like a mentor for your physical fitness is important?
Oh my goodness, it is critically important now. I'm a firm believer of that because I've been on my wellness journey 10 plus years. I too, as you know, live with a high level of chronic pain and have for many years. And, you know, I also work with a professional to help me in my regimen, to help me to keep moving forward in a way that is safe and I won't further injure myself. And so when you're trying to get your life together and you work on your health, your wellness, and you really want to show up as your best self, which you hear that all the time. Oh, I just want to live my best life. Oh, I just want to be my best self. Well, you need help in those areas, right? Once you figure out what your priorities are. I always start people out, well, let's define the priorities and put those in an order that makes sense. Because I believe you can take care of one area that will cover three, right? And if you're just working on your finances, you're just working on your finances. Your finances is not going to make you healthier. It's not going to help you make better choices when it comes to your health and your relationship. It's just finances, right? Right? But when you work on your overall wellness, your health and wellness, it'll give you the energy to further work on your finances, to further your relationships, to show up better for yourself in life, and to make those adjustments because now you have the energy to do so. So hiring a mentor or coach, a professional trainer, I have a professional trainer that I work with, is critically important. Now, it took me to go through a process to learn even how to hire a trainer, especially for those of us who live with a higher level of chronic pain, be it arthritis, degenerative joint disease, fibromyalgia, I mean, you name it, nerve pain, those type things, or whatever your condition may be. But yes, you need someone to help guide you safely through those exercises with proper form. I highly recommend the ones that I work with because, I mean, they've been the best thus far to make sure that, you know, I don't further injure myself, or that because of the way my mind is wired, that, you know, we do it. There's no pain, no gain. You do
No
it.
pain, no gain.
Do it past the pain. They're like, no. They're like, you're not in the Marine Corps anymore. Let's not do that.
Yeah.
Right. So they had to do some mindset work with me on that because I'm wired to, it hurts, but get it done anyway.
Right? Absolutely.
And so I'm so grateful for Thomas Fitness because they have helped me to realize it's okay to say that you're hurting and you can't do this particular thing, but they are so good at what they do. They find a way to work around it to still hit the area that needs strengthening. Right.
I would say that's really good for what Mike did for me, because one of the hidden potentials of working with Mike was I always thought I could not do push-ups. And when I could not even do one when we started, and then I could do 20. So that was like, oh my goodness, look at me doing a push-up. It's like again, yeah, because although in the Marine Corps we had done it regularly, but that was prior to shoulder injuries and going through a windshield of a car, and just believing that was something that was no longer available to me. But that was a hidden potential that I was able to tap into once I hired the right person to show me how to do it safely, effectively, and without injury.
Yes, and to add to that, everyone should have a wellness plan. I'm a firm believer of it. And if you have a plan, I think it should be revisited to see what you can add or make some shifts, because those of us, even if you don't have, you know, physical conditions like like people like you and I have, that when you work on those areas and when you make those necessary and healthy shifts, right? It's important to be consistent. It really is to see the change. And that's where I find that many of my clients struggle with being consistent, because number one, it's not linked to any definitive purpose. They don't see how it will really affect other areas of their life. So, it's easy for them to just give up on it and set it aside. But as it pertains to activating your potential, let me tell you something. When you see people like you and I, Brenda, who we know what it's like to live and deal with high levels of pain every day, we make a choice every day to get up as a brand new day and
every day
and press forward. Because even like this morning when I got up, so it was amazing that you called me, which I could not ignore and say no to this opportunity, because I woke up with something on my mind. I was hurting, but I still had to get up. There's many days that I'm hurting, but I said, you know what, you got to move, because if you don't move, it'll worsen. And those of us who live with chronic pain, we understand that, right? When we're really saying, no, I got more to give. I got more to give. I got people to serve, I deserve more. We get up and we make a choice every day to be consistent, but be smart about it. So, I wanted to say that you make a choice whether or not, or where on your level of your list of priorities that you put yourself. And if you're not putting yourself at the top of that list, you're doing yourself a disservice. If you're trying to go it alone and you're struggling, you're doing yourself a disservice, because you don't see your blind spots. I didn't see my blind spots until I saw someone else who was doing the same thing I was doing, appeared to be doing the same thing I was doing, right? Going through those emotions. We saw each other. We knew each other. We just nodded. And I saw months later their results and mine. I was still in the same place, and he was looking like a showstopper. Okay. And I was like, oh my goodness. So that allowed me to now ask for help and hire help. And that's when I started going through various trainers until I found one that really worked for me and my situation, and understood my situation, the necessity to make sure that I didn't have injury. So that's so important. And I don't want people to be afraid because you have arthritis, or because you have your back hurt, or your feet hurt when you walk, or whatever your situation is, that you can't do it. You have to start where you are and grow. You have to start where you are. And I encourage everyone to work with someone, at least starting out, because that's the most difficult part, is getting started. Once you have the swing of things and you can get, you have the momentum, you can pretty much, depending on how disciplined you are, keep going. But yes, most definitely. And where I come in with that is really helping you with the mindset, because there is a mindset shift that has to take place in order for you to appreciate your health, which is wealth.
About a year ago, I heard the term health wealth, and I have been obsessed with it ever since, because it wasn't until I heard that term that I even equated health with wealth, in the sense that if I could have all the money in the world, but if my health was jacked up, the wealth really didn't matter. So it was important that I invested in a healthy lifestyle, not a diet, but a healthy lifestyle. And when I began to tap into a healthy lifestyle, I unleashed my hidden potential to be fit, fierce, and fabulous.
Yes.
And I love saying that, fit, fierce, and fabulous, because I'm speaking that into existence, because I see myself a certain way that when I look in the mirror, I know how I want to look. And so I'm visualizing myself where I want to be. And when I realized I was just not making any headway, that's why the personal trainer became an absolute must for where I wanted to go. Now we're going to move from the personal trainer into the life coaching type of a situation, because you said something earlier about, if you're just working on your finances, you're just working on your finances. And oftentimes when people hear the term life coach, they may not have the greatest ideal about what that really is, or what really can be accomplished with someone that is helping you with your life strategies, is what I prefer to call it. Because in life strategies, meaning looking at your life as a whole, not just finances, not just health, not just your mental, not just your professional, but all of those things, and not just your spiritual, but all of those things in tandem, so that we can build a solid foundation for which to build a life that's going to help us live a well-balanced life that perpetuates wellness in all areas.
Absolutely.
And I know that when you work with women and men and businesses and just people in general, that's something that you stress. How do you see the hidden potential that we see in people being blocked because of limiting beliefs, or because they haven't unleashed their hidden potential because of finances, because of health, because of mental, because of spiritual, or any of those blockages? How do you see that as something that people that maybe be adverse to hiring a coach or taking a class can do a mini mind shift just to get them heading in that direction, even if we can't get them there yet, but get them headed in that direction, if that makes any sense?
Yes. So, everyone is individual. So it depends on how the individual comes to me and how they find me, the stage that their state of mind that they're in when they come, right? So some are at their breaking point and they move quickly because they just want answers. They want results. And so, yes, they're eager to tell me what to do so I can move forward. But what I work to do is to move them from the stuck state, a mental state that they're in. Because again, people will put finances before their health. And you really need your health and energy to improve your finances and to pursue business and career path and what have you. And so what I work with them doing, what I listen for is what they're telling me is important to them. What does their best day in life look like? What does it encompass? What are you doing? And once they start defining what life, the life that they desire, what it looks like, what it feels like to them, how they really want to show up in it, then I can say, okay, and we can put things in an order that makes sense to them in a structured way so they can move forward. Some people start out with pursuing their exercising as an answer to their issue, right? Mm-hmm. But perhaps they don't know how to hire the right trainer, because it is important that you hire the right trainer. Or they don't know how to necessarily decide, well, which life coach do I go with? Do I go with this one or do I go with that one? Because there are different life coaches out there, right? That cover different areas of your life. And so that comes with, having done your due diligence up front all the time, really. Because you can find plenty life coaches, but you have to know what your need is and what you're trying to accomplish. But when they come with me, I do deal with the mental, the spiritual aspect of their life as well. That's something that can't be ignored unless you just, say, I want to ignore the spiritual altogether, and then that's a whole different situation. But I come from a spiritual perspective, so we have to deal with that foundation. And when it comes to working with me, it's mind, body, spirit. It's mind, body, soul. It's not one part over the other. We may start with the physical first, which I'm not the one to do the training, but I will make recommendations based on what you tell me your need is and help you sort through the type of professional you need to work with. We may start with the spiritual, because oftentimes women are saying, hey, I don't know who I am. And women are coming to me in their 40s saying, I don't know who I am. Help me figure this out. I don't know who I am. I don't know my purpose in life. Help me. And when I receive those desperate cries, I'm getting chills now just thinking about some who've come to me with such desperate cries. And it really is just sorting through those, I take them through a series of questions and we sort through it. And it's such a calm that comes over them, although the work hasn't begun yet. But now they can say, okay, at least they have a starting point. And that's why I prefer mentor than life coach, because I teach out of what I know. I teach out of what I've lived and practiced for years and what has worked with me first, coupled with what I know. And so it's all based on what they want for themselves and what they're trying to achieve for themselves, putting themselves first and making themselves a priority. Because no matter what life coach you work with, no matter what trainer or mentor you work with, you have to put yourself at the top of the list, even to get the work done in a way that's going to be meaningful and transformational in your personal life.
Well, Dr. Denise, I thank you for coming today and talking to me about activating your hidden potential. But for those of you watching, may say, well, how am I going to activate my hidden potential? And I have some options for you. the number one option I have for you is contact Dr. Denise. You can see her on Instagram at Dr. Denise Sincere, and you can take her survey, and you can find out how you can tap into your greatness by unleashing your hidden potential, and she is the person to help you do that. Your other option is to purchase my book, Soul Searching. Get on board for transformation using the TAPIN method. There is a blueprint laid out in the book on how you can unleash your hidden potential. Or you can do what you've always done and just wing it. Either way, it's your choice. Because that's the best thing about having choices. You get to choose to do it the hard way, the easy way, or somewhere in between. And whatever you decide, we're all good for it.
They need to buy your book anyway.
Yeah. But Dr. Denise, before you go, I'd like to remind all our audience about something before we finish our conversation. Okay. I'd like you all to go to nevcc.org/projects and thank a veteran. You know, there's veterans that sometimes never get thank you. And I want to ensure that they do. So if you go to nevcc.org/projects, you will have the opportunity to be a part of the Basket Brigade. There are 12 different chapters in a book that you can leave a thank you or a note of appreciation for a veteran to let them know you appreciate their service. And in 2022, at least 100 veterans or more will receive a book that's compiled of all those thank yous, letting them know that someone appreciated their service. I know you'd like to be a part of this, and if not you, tell a friend about it so that we can thank our veterans, because they need to know that their service is appreciated. Dr. Denise, and in that vein, I'd like to thank you for your service.
And thank you for your service.
For coming on the show today. And before we go, I'd like to ask, do you have any parting words?
Yes. So my parting words would be, don't be afraid of your potential. We all have it. You don't have to let all of it blossom at once, just one step at a time, one portion at a time, right? Because to be afraid of your potential is to be afraid of yourself. And you don't want to be afraid of you. You want to show up and you want to shine in this world. So tap into your potential. Continue to listen to good information. Get yourself a mentor so you don't have to walk the path alone. There is help out here to guide you along the way so you can get there faster with accountability and support. Thank you so much for having me, Brenda.
I'm glad you came. And remember, everyone, life is choice driven. The choices you make today will be the reality you live tomorrow. So choose wisely. And remember, activate your hidden potential and tap into your own greatness, because you're worth it. Be blessed, everybody.
Yes. Bye now.